And moving on to the next topic of the day, and next, Mr. Clement Sabbagh, the president of the International Colorstone Association, will be here for the future prospect of global colorstone industry after COVID-19. Please welcome.
Hello from Brazil. It's an honor to be here today and to present an overview of the recent challenges and opportunities after COVID-19 for the color gemstone industry. I would like to thank the GIT, the Gems and Jewelry Institute of Thailand, on creating this conference towards a sustainable gem industry. ICA, the International Colorstone Association, is a non-profit organization and the only worldwide body created to benefit the global color gemstone industry. ICA is comprised of over 700 gem industry leaders from mine to market, including miners, gem cutters, suppliers, retailers, trade associations, gemological laboratories, academia, museums, and more from 47 different countries. The ICA staff serves the board and members on all administrative responsibilities. Our offices are located in Hong Kong and New York. The ICA Board of Directors comprise an international array of distinguished gem professionals coming together to advance the gemstone industry. Their backgrounds span the gemstone chain supply from miners, cutters, wholesalers, all the way to retailers. They abide to a very strict code of ethics and generously volunteer their time and expertise to promote the knowledge and appreciation of color stones. The ICA main objective is to promote the understanding, appreciation, and the ethical sales of color stones throughout its members and to the world. Some other ICA objectives are to establish a closer communications between miners, cutters, wholesaler dealers, manufacturers, and retailers by working in cooperation with industry-related organizations worldwide. To work with organizations and laboratories to standardize rules and nomenclatures of color gemstones, and also to disseminate knowledge to the industry through our platforms, like our ICA website, newsletters, in color magazines, and through our biennial congress, at which industry professionals attend seminars, discussions, and engage socially to ultimately gain a broadened understanding of the business. ICA members are required to adhere to its code of ethics and maintain the highest standards of professionalism in the industry, while complying, of course, with national and international laws. Some of ICA initiatives are, we have been publishing in Color magazine for the past years in Chinese language. This has been a major link and a breakthrough for ICA in China. We also have the Gem Industry Laboratory Conference, the GILC, which is organized by the ICA every year just before Tucson and provide a space for the industry peers to discuss worldwide gemstone issues like ethical practices, nomenclature, consumer confidences, terminologies, and the accurate use of laboratories for certifications and grading purposes. The biennial congresses are organized in members' countries around the globe, and it is the place where industry experts share their knowledge and insights with an audience of industry professionals and ICA members. You can see here our latest congresses since 2009, and our last congress was in Bangkok, Thailand. I take this opportunity to thank the whole industry and especially the organizers, which I believe that the Bangkok Congress was one of the best ever. Thank you very much for that. Now something that we feel very proud of, the ICA has established a fund called Gems Keep Giving. Through this fund, ICA actively improves the livelihood of the many small artisanal miners and their families who account for more than 80% of our industry. They are very important partners of our industry, and yet they are living in communities less fortunate than ours. Money raised in Gems Keep Giving Fund focuses on assisting with safety procedures, methods, training, education, social care, and protection of the environment. And our first project since the Gems Keep Giving Fund was created is the Kamtonga Primary School Water Project. Kamtonga village in Kenya is situated in a very dry area with no piped water, and it's a city with 3,000 inhabitants, which most of them work in the mines as small-scale miners in their area. The school and community depends on the unprotected springs, shallow wells, and rainwater for the domestic and livestock needs. So water from some of these sources are feared to be contaminated. This fund is assisting the drilling, equipping, and reticulation of the water. The main source of water for this project is a borehole drilled in Kamtonga Primary School right next to the Kamtonga Market Center. This project will greatly improve the access of drinking water by the community. It will also promote agricultural activities in small-scale farming and their quality of life, as it is shortening time and the distance taken to access the water. Global gems and jewelry industry. In 2018, the sales of colored stones accounted for $22 billion. The colored stones, they represent 20% of diamond sales. Before COVID-19, there was an expected long-term growth of 4 to 5%, and that did not happen. In 2019, there was a slight flat negative growth, and of course 2020, a very negative growth due to COVID. The branded gemstone jeweler outperformed the market with high single-digit growth. We see a very high potential for colored gemstones, especially high-quality ones. Despite the consolidation that we have seen in the market, colored gemstones market is very fragmented compared to diamond market. Overview of 2020 and 2021. Well, on March of 2020, the coronavirus reached the classification of pandemic, and it has affected the industry worldwide ever since. Travel restrictions were implemented, and all the main shows of the year were cancelled, which pushed the industry to reinvent itself and come up with alternative ways to conduct business. A number of virtual shows, websites, and other platforms were created in order to surpass the obstacles generated by the pandemic. Well, we all know that business in our industry is strongly based on one-to-one interaction with high selection of gems. Alternative solutions aren't able completely to replace on-site fairs and trade shows, so we still think that shows will be important means of B2B business. We will see in the next two slides the top exporters and importers of colored gemstones. We can see, as I mentioned before, from 2018 and to 2020, we see how bad the coronavirus affected our market. It is part of ICA mission to provide answers to the rising concern of consumers regarding transparency, sustainability, and fair practices. It is our utmost interest to increase the confidence and trust in our industry. For this reason, ICA has worked closely with the AGTA, the American Gem Trade Association, and the Worldwide Jewelry Confederation, the SIBJO, and other industry organizations to develop an initiative to continuously improve the manner in which colored gemstones are treated. The Credit Ethical member. The Credit Ethical Member status, the AEM, symbolizes ICA's mission to provide greater consumer confidence in the color gemstone industry. ICA has worked very closely with CIBJO and other organizations to develop strategies to continuously improve the manner in which gemstones are bought and sold, from mine to market. Our AEM members represent those who understand fully their duty of care within the gem and jewelry supply chain to improve the practice within the industry in order for the consumer to feel good about their purchases and about the gem set jewelry they wear. It consists of a series of steps containing the key ICA and industry documents and objectives outlining the elements of responsible sourcing. It is a self-audit and a voluntary pledge on responsible sourcing, and it represents an incentive for continuous improvement. This is why the ICA AEM status is a symbol that designates a commitment to the industry recommended guidances for responsible sourcing of gemstones, disclosures, and all enhancement, and freely informing the clients in the true origin of all gemstones they provide. Upon submission and satisfactory completion, ICA grants a member status of a credit ethical member for the maximum period of 1 year. The future of color gemstone industry. As we all know, the supply of gemstone is often scarce, so it's understandable that exceptional colored gemstones are increasingly rare and therefore expected to be highly valued. We see a great demand for Paraíba with very high price for Brazil origin, Spinel with premium price for Jedi Red from Burma and Cobalt from Vietnam, Rubelites from Brazil and Nigeria, Tsavorite from Kenya, along with Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald. Origins still command premium prices. It's very important, as I mentioned, that gemstones are limited in production and cannot be used widely in brand collections and cannot increase market presence. Designers are most likely to look for a more available gem materials to create the classic line of gem set suits. We expect that blue sapphire, emerald, rubies, aquamarine, topazes, garnets, opals, and a whole host of other gems will make the way in the wave-making designer jewelry. Different countries favor different gemstones and colors. In China, for instance, the popularity of jade opened doors for other green stones, such emeralds and tourmalines. And the popularity of gems comes from several different factors. Celebrity choice can launch a specific gem into the limelight. Other times, it might be fashion colors specifically chosen for the season or complementary colors to the featured trend. In 2019, we experienced a rise in interest of gemstone orange hues such imperial topaz, fire opal, and so on. And because Pantone had named the living coral for the color of the year. In 2020, Pantone color of the year was classic blue, and that gave a renewed appreciation of the gems like sapphire, spinel, blue topaz, and aquamarines. In 2021, Pantone nominated 2 different colors. Illuminating, which certainly favored gemstones in yellow hues, such yellow sapphire, yellow opal, citrine, yellow diamonds, and the ultimate gray, which may have favored gemstones in shades of gray, such spinel, sapphire, smoky quartz, onyx, gray jade, labradorite, moonstone, and even black and gray diamonds. And for this year of 2022, the color chosen is very pale, which encompasses shades of blue, yet according to Pantone possessing a violet red tone. We may expect demand for tanzanites, amethysts, electrodrites, purple sapphires, ametrine, iolites, and the wide range of blues such as sapphires, spinels, blue topaz, and aquamarines. Future of color gemstone industry. Well, the world is getting smaller with easy access to new sources. We see an increased demand for supply chain transparency, of course. And we see a lot of supply chain consolidation, mine to market. There are some examples like Greenland Ruby, Belmont Emeralds. And the partnership between miners and manufacturers and trades, like we see next with Muse and Gemfields, and retail, internet, and live broadcasts going directly to the supply chain. Wholesale traders provide still a very important service as it connects the manufacturers with the right sources. We'll mention a few opportunities as we see. Mine-to-market opportunities we see all along the global supply chain. The resource connection and the relationship building is the key. Those well connected in the field are the first one to spot the next opportunity or to create it. Transparency will be increasingly demanded throughout the industry. The next gem opportunity in the industry information is seen by those who make themselves present in either gem shows or by visiting mine sourcing countries, be present and stay connected. The demand is continuous for all colors and top quality cutting. Trends follow supply, promotion follows supply, and opportunity follows supply. As we all know, rough business is not for amateurs. Well, we see a lot of emerald, ruby, and sapphire being more and more manufactured in China. Storytelling to create a desire and romance is very important. Image building and branding on the source is also very important. And education brings confidence. We have been saying all along that the more the client is educated, the more he will consume. What to expect in 2022? We expect to resume our gem business activities now that vaccines are widely available and traveling restrictions began to be lifted. Travel restriction and lockdown made several medium-sized and small, which accounts for 80% of our industry, to abandon their activities. They had to look for other ways to survive as the buyers were not coming to the source. So these small mines have been gradually returning to operation. We expect trade shows to remain an important means of trade for our industry, and although consumers had initially held back on spending, we perceive consumption overall to be reestablished. Additionally, we believe that appreciation of color gemstone will remain significant, and especially if led by meaningful experiences and purpose. Thank you very much, and I wish all a great conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clement Sabbagh. All right, and for the e-summary of GIT 2021, final versions will be available on 10th February 2022 at www.gitconference2021.com. And I would like to mention once again about the evaluation form. We placed the QR code on your table and the backup chair. Don't forget that you can feel free to scan the QR code and answering the following questions honestly. เอาละค่ะแล้วก็สำหรับในช่วงนี้นะคะขออนุญาตประชาสัมพันธ์ค่ะสำหรับทุกท่านที่อยู่ภายในห้องนี้รบกวนตอบแบบสอบถามให้ด้วยนะคะสามารถที่จะสแกน QR code ได้ค่ะเรามีการแปะ QR code ไว้ให้แล้วที่บริเวณโต๊ะและด้านหลังเก้าอี้นะคะ Alright, and here is the GIT conference where we have the short break and come back with you once again with the oral presentation session by the researchers around the world. See you again at 3:25 sharp. Once again, 3:25 sharp. สำหรับในช่วงนี้นะคะเดี๋ยวขอให้ทุกท่านนะคะไปพักเบรกกันก่อนได้ค่ะเราจะกลับมาพบกันอีกครั้งหนึ่งในช่วงของ oral presentation ในช่วงเวลา 15:25 นาทีค่ะ 15:25 นาทีที่ห้องนี้ห้องเดิมขอบคุณค่ะ